Do you want to spend time with your family, or go on vacations, hike, see the world, or live a life free of any financial backlogs? Then what you need is a solid investment with the right dividends that can help you retire early. This may seem like a myth, but it's not. Early retirement is one of the best things that can happen to a worker, and it starts with the kind of financial choices you make now. In today's video, I will teach you how to make the right investments and the right financial decisions so you can become financially independent and, if you like, retire early. Watch this video to the end, as I will be exposing certain truths on making astute investments that you may not have been told. Hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. There is no best or most reliable way to put it. Early retirement is a veritable choice to make on different levels. This is because you would have ample time to do the things that matter. But you can't retire early if you're neck deep in debt, you're still living from paycheck to paycheck, and have not made investments. To people in this category, sustaining your 9-to-5 and adding other streams is the best choice. To retire early, you need to have made a lot of investments with companies that pay high dividends. But it is important to note that retiring early on dividends takes some sacrifice. You may save a significant amount of money annually and properly invest it. This may sound easy, but it can be difficult, and it's definitely not for everyone. If that amount of dedication and hard work that's required to retire early came on a silver platter, everyone would do it. While this may sound discouraging, there is a hack to every difficult situation. Firstly, let me assure you that retiring early is highly attainable and does not necessarily require a high-paying job that requires years of schooling. In fact, starting a job immediately might be a better choice than earning a college degree over 4 more years. For instance, you plan to retire at the age of 35, and you have to spend 4 to 8 years in a college or university studying what may not be of use to you. Is it sustainable to retire early? Would it not be better to begin working and investing immediately? You may even be stuck in the same job you went to school to avoid. The point I'm trying to make here is that you don't fundamentally need schooling to attain financial freedom and retire early. In college, you could possibly be missing out on 4 to 8 years of compound interest. Your income might be lower without the degree, but you could begin investing much sooner. Without the additional expense of college, the difference could be non-existent. How much will you need to retire? According to dividend investing experts, you could aim to live in a portfolio that yields 4% in annual dividends. This will be an attainable and safe yield that would also allow your income and portfolio size to grow over time. However, this suggestion is quite the opposite of traditional advice, which often requires you to cut back when you retire and keep your expenses down forever. There is a plethora of dividend ETFs that would follow into this range that holds profitable companies that are likely to increase their dividend regularly. A 4% dividend yield would provide about $20,000 per year in income and a $500,000 portfolio. If you have a $1 million portfolio, you will earn an annual dividend of $40,000. You would receive regular payments without needing to touch the principal of your investment. In fact, the principal will grow over time when invested properly, while you receive regular income. Unlike traditional retirement income styles, there is no need to sell a portion of your investment for income. That's why investing in dividends can be very desirable. A young retiree can live on a low income at the beginning of retirement, and then push up their standard of living as they age. When you retire early, the chances are that you are going to have to live frugally. This is just the beginning of life outside of the working market. Your investments are growing, but you would not want to spend both your dividend and your principal income. Unless you have a regular high-paying job that allows you to save a lot of money very quickly, you're going to want to cut back whenever possible. Although it might be tiring to be prudent, it will pay off when you reach your goals. Besides, it actually makes sense to adopt the act of prudence in some aspects of your life. Try and cut down on eating out multiple times per week and wasting money on impulse purchases. Are these trade-offs that much of an inconvenience? When you consider what they'll help you accomplish when you're older, you're not going to be upset that you were careful with money. These frugal habits will not only allow you to save more money, but they will also help you live on less money so that you won't require as much dividend income to become financially free. 4% might seem like a very low number, and you would need a massive amount of money to be able to retire on that type of yield. There is some truth to that, but early retirees typically have low expenses because they don't want to be enslaved to a job, and they're willing to be even more economical. A good number of people would argue that they could live on $20,000 a year for a start if it meant they would never need to work again. To achieve this, you would need about $500,000. While this is a sizable chunk of change, it's more reasonable when you break the numbers down. Someone could invest just $1,000 per month into the S&P 500 for 17 years, or from age 18 to 35, and they would have over $50,000. Besides, when you retire, there are more opportunities to save money, such as traveling during the off-season. When you're working a regular job, traveling must be done on weekends and holiday weeks, when places are busy and prices are ridiculously expensive. Can you live on less than $1,700 per month? If you're single and your taxable income is less than $4,400, you won't be required to pay any taxes on qualified dividends. Even with a brokerage account, you'll be able to earn a tax-free dividend as long as you're in that tax bracket. The largest single expense for most people is housing. However, there are ways to reduce that cost temporarily. House hacking is one of the best ways to reduce your housing costs. This could be in the form of sharing an apartment with roommates. If you're able to, you could buy a multifamily home and rent out the other units so that the rent covers your portion of the bills. Another option is to rent out your home on a short-term basis as you travel, visit friends and family, or health sit in other locations. In addition, transportation is the largest expense for most, which often comes in the form of an expensive finance vehicle. This can be minimized by owning an inexpensive but reliable vehicle, using other forms of transportation like a bike or public transit, or just not owning a car at all. The opportunities are enormous if you're willing to be creative. Not everyone wants to be extremely prudent in their younger years, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to be a little extravagant. But if you want to retire very early, you'll need to carefully watch your spending and diligently invest in quality assets that will provide income for a long time. Retiring early is not a myth. It is one of the most possible and beautiful choices anyone can make. There are endless possibilities in retiring early, but the right financial and personal decisions have to be made. First of all, one must be prudent enough to be able to save enough. Secondly, one must be willing and ready to make the right investments. Adopt these life hacks, and you will not only retire early, but you will also live your best life while aging. Do you think it's advisable to retire early? Comment below. And leave a big thumbs up on this video if it's been helpful. And if you're new to our channel, subscribe and turn on your post notification. See you in the next video.